Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Microsoft Corporate Vice President, Office, SharePoint, and OneDrive, Jeff Teper.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to Ignite for those of you in Orlando, and welcome and thank you for those who are tuning in via streaming. And I say welcome on behalf of the entire OneDrive and SharePoint team. In fact, usually we brought program managers, product managers, and designers to the event. This year, we've brought the most people from the team in the history of SharePoint. 120 people are here from the team, and they're excited to share what we've done, and most importantly, to hear your feedback. So let's go ahead and get started. It has been a busy 18 months for us. We started off being the geeks we are on May 4th last year with the Future of SharePoint event, where we announced a new roadmap for SharePoint, new user experience, new integrations between SharePoint and OneDrive, connections to the Office 365 suite via groups, modern development model for both rapid development and professional development, new security, commitment to on-premises, and much more. And we followed that up by the fastest delivery we've ever done, and 60 sessions at last Ignite. Did it again this spring in May with another roadmap event, a whole bunch of news there. And we're back at Ignite with 70 more sessions. And in fact, today we're posting 11 blog posts of all the new work in OneDrive and SharePoint, also the most in the history of SharePoint. It's pretty good. We're not going to try to do 12 blog posts next year. But the main reason we do the work we do is not just to build a product that helps your organization work more effectively, but to build a community where you as individuals can network, learn, grow your impact, grow your career. And I think I can say, I am biased, but I think I can say definitively, SharePoint has the best community in technology. On this slide, you see just a sample of the free SharePoint Saturday events that have happened since last Ignite. I've had a chance to go to a bunch of them over the last year: Nashville, Paris, Toronto, Los Angeles, Twin Cities, Geneva, much more. It's amazing. When I went to the Twin Cities in Minnesota, over 40 sessions, 500 people on a Saturday, and the weather was good. Minnesota crude. On the way over here, I ran into one of our MVPs, great guy, Alistair Pugan from South Africa. He's ready to get on a bus next month and drive throughout Africa doing free SharePoint sessions for people. And I'm really excited. I sort of follow which events are happening. In a few weeks, on October 28th, there will be 6 simultaneous SharePoint Saturday events, including Nairobi and Barcelona. That is also the most in the history of SharePoint. But this is fun to do. We don't measure our success in the number of features we ship or the number of events we have. We measure our success in the value you get out of the product, and the way we know that is whether you're using or not. And we've had, with all the momentum, this year, in the last 12 months, we've added more organizations and more users to SharePoint in the history of the product. Over 300,000 organizations are using SharePoint. That, for people who dissect our numbers, has grown more in the last 12 months than we added to SharePoint in the first 12 years of the product. So it is incredible to see the potential of the cloud to bring new technology to people faster than ever before. And this is not just small organizations, it's the largest organizations in the world. Yesterday I was chatting with Andrew Wilson, the CIO of Accenture. They have almost 400,000 people using the service. A few months ago we did a blog post about their OneDrive use. They were at a petabyte. Talked to them yesterday, they're now at 2 petabytes in the service. So small organizations, large multinationals, it is great. It's great to see the cloud momentum. We've got a few other stats here on our growth in terms of active usage and sync usage and so forth. And this momentum and feature work has been recognized by the analysts. We're in 6 simultaneous leader classifications from Gartner and Forrester. So we're very, very grateful for the adoption we've seen, and it just fires us up to do much more, which is certainly what you're going to see today. So most of the time this morning, we're going to cover demos, and we're going to organize those in the 6 areas of value that we're going to deliver to you. First, sharing and working together. Then we'll talk about informing and engaging employees. Then transforming business processes, harnessing collective knowledge, helping you protect and manage information, and extending and developing business solutions. So those are the 6 areas that combined add up to providing the intelligent content management and intranet capabilities across Office 365. So we're going to go through each of those. We'll do our best to stay on time. We did an abysmal job of it last night, so we stayed late sort of cutting demos. But please, we'll try to finish on time because we've got a special announcement that we're going to keep for the very end. So let me first transition to working together, which we define as everything from a couple of users working on a file to the largest team sites and content repositories you can imagine. And we'll go through a couple of slides framing both those, and then we'll start to show demos this morning. OneDrive, we announced in our roadmap a year and a half ago that OneDrive is incredibly strategic for us. Anywhere access to all your files, personal, work, individual, and team, any device. We've got best-in-class mobile apps, Sync Client on Windows and the Mac, great new web interface that you'll see this week, and great support for a huge variety of content. I won't steal the thunder of the demos, but you'll see the amount of third-party support we have, in addition to, of course, deep Office integration and collaboration capabilities. Big focus for us is secure sharing, both inside and outside your organization, and that's part of giving you a better solution for managing files and securing them and having governance capabilities, DLP, e-discovery, and much more. So that's what we're trying to do with OneDrive. If we scale up to team sites as a destination for collaboration, that's where we're tying together all sorts of heterogeneous information, content, knowledge, news, applications, lists, library, and much more. And we've, as you've seen over the last 18 months, worked to make the seams across Office 365 disappear with technologies like Office 365 Groups. It's a common security mechanism, so you can use our applications together in a seamless way, and that you can see those in any context. So of course you can see a SharePoint site in the web, in the SharePoint mobile app, but you'll see a lot more from us in how we're integrating SharePoint inside our chat workspace called Microsoft Teams. Excited to kick off the first demo of the morning. We've got a lot to show, so let me bring up the Director of Program Management for the team, Omar Shaheen. Omar.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here today and show you how we're improving the ways in which you share and work together. I'm going to start first with OneDrive Files on Demand, which will be shipping next month as part of the Windows Fall Creators Update. Files on Demand makes it simple and provides the most complete experience for accessing your files in Office 365. I'm going to start here in my OneDrive. And without having to set up anything or wait for files to sync, all my files in OneDrive and SharePoint are going to be available to me. But it's also incredibly powerful. As you can see here by all these rich previews, without having to have any applications installed, I can see all these different files, such as Illustrator files, PSDs, 3D images, even medical imaging files, such as MRIs and 2D X-rays. Of course, I can see my Office documents, as well as rich photos and videos. But OneDrive Files on Demand also gives me a lot of control. I can go ahead and select a file, and I can choose whether this file is available on device or not. So if I get on an airplane, I know I can work with that file. It's just like managing how you would access your music, say for Spotify or Apple Music, where you want to have some stuff available for you when you take a flight. But I also have control over all of my team files. And so I'm going to show you something here. This is all the files that I'm syncing in team sites. Wow, that is a lot of data. That's over 3 terabytes of information that is in those team sites. There's no way any of that will fit on the surface. And so just like I can access file shares, I can access all these files without having to download anything. And that makes it easy for me to get to all my team's files and access them. But I also have the ability to share and collaborate directly from File Explorer. So I'm going to go ahead here and select this file and click Share. And in a few quick seconds, I'm now going to get a link, and that link is copied to my clipboard. And I can send that link to anybody, and it works just like an email attachment. Anyone who gets that link will be able to access it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is that one of those horrible 4-line URLs that you're going to be embarrassed to share with somebody else? Well, I have some exciting news for you. We've shrunken our URLs by over 100%, and they now fit in smaller places, like a carry-on bag. And so you can see here an example of our new short URLs, which will be rolling out soon, and an example of what they used to look like. The next thing I'm going to do is switch over to Word, which is also an application I happen to use a lot. And I'm going to show you how you can share in Word. Just by clicking that Share button, you'll see the exact same set of capabilities I just showed you in Windows. We have a unified sharing experience now across File Explorer and the Office applications. But what I want to do now is actually share something with one of my colleagues, Larry, who works at a different company. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Larry's email address. And you're going to see it says, that Larry over at Fabricam Airlines is outside my organization. Now, I want to share this with Larry, but I don't want Larry to be able to share it with anybody else. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Send. And now I'm going to switch over to Larry's email account. Larry uses G Suite. And so there's the email that came in. And look, it looks like Omar shared something with Larry, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now, Larry doesn't have an account with Office 365. He doesn't have a Microsoft account. He doesn't have an Azure account. And so we're going to go ahead and load this information. And you're going to notice that now Larry can't access this document until he enters a code. And so think about this code as a one-time password. So we're going to go back to Larry's Gmail account. Oh, and there's the code with a password in it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to paste that in. And just like that, Larry can get into the document and edit it and access it without ever needing an account, and it's secure. Now, the folks over at Contoso IT, they can set policies for how long Larry will have access to that document, so that if Larry was to leave employment over at Fabricam, he'll no longer have access to that information. Now, I share a lot of stuff in OneDrive, and often I wonder, are people actually looking at the files that I'm sharing? I have a meeting tomorrow, and I've shared this product overview slide. And what you can see now is as I hover over files in OneDrive, we can bring in rich details about who's accessed that information and when they access that information. So if I have an important meeting tomorrow, and I can actually go in there and see who's actually looked at my document, helping me better prepare. I think that deserves a round of applause. All right, we're going to switch over now and talk a little bit about team collaboration. So now here I am in my marketing team site. Now I've customized this team site to have a bunch of, oops, start over. Sorry about that. All right, so I've customized this homepage here to have a lot of rich information about who I'm working with and information from across Office 365. So you can see at the top a list of people I'm working with. You can see a stream video from Microsoft Stream. But what I've done here is actually embedded a form from Microsoft Forms, which has a survey. So I can create these lightweight surveys and embed them in my team site. This survey here asks questions such as, did you like our last team event? And maybe collect some ideas for the next one. As I scroll down, you can see a set of important documents, and you can also see some tweets that I brought in from Twitter. But my team also uses Microsoft Planner. And so I'm going to go over here and show you how we use Planner to collaborate on tasks. And those tasks can also have rich file previews, just like I showed you earlier. So we bring that files experience into Planner, which is also here embedded in a team. What I'm going to do now is post some team news. And so another great experience we've added is this new file previewer part. And that file previewer supports over 270 file types that OneDrive and SharePoint support now. So I'm going to go ahead and select this Adobe Illustrator file. And you can see here that that preview is now generated right there in the news post. And when I go ahead and share that with my team, they'll be able to see that rich content that I could share from my SharePoint site. All right, and the last thing I'd like to show you here is that you can take an existing team site that you've created and actually add all those powerful capabilities that are powered by Office 365 groups. And so here I have a team site. When I go ahead and click the gear icon, you'll see that there's an option here to connect this to an Office 365 group. And so without having to create a new team site or move any of my content, I can, with one click, just create a group and get the rich collaboration features that come along in Outlook, Yammer, or Microsoft Teams. Now I'm going to switch gears and go to another site. This site's actually been created as part of a Microsoft team. And you can see that I've customized this site a little differently. I have a document library. I have some activity. But what I want to do now is go into the team that's associated with this team site. So I'm going to click this Teams link here. We've added this shortcut to make it easy to launch Teams and get right into your conversations. And so here we are in Microsoft Teams. You can see this is a conversation in the general channel. And you'll also notice that I actually added a page. In this case, I can click on this. And we've now brought the ability to bring SharePoint pages or any SharePoint content directly into the team channel. So I can pin a lot of useful information. In this case, you can see our mission statement. I can also switch over, and I mean, who wouldn't want a stronger Contoso? And then finally, I can bring in the team site homepage, which I just showed you earlier, which brings in all of that same rich content. But we also brought in rich file capabilities into Teams. And so just like I talked about earlier with all those rich previews that we have in OneDrive and SharePoint, those all work in Microsoft Teams now. And an example I didn't show earlier, which was a zip file, I can now click on a zip file and actually see the contents of that zip file right here in Teams. You can see there's 7 items. I don't have to download it. And so that's it for me. It's been great to show all this to you. I'm going to hand it back over to Jeff. Thank you.
Thanks, Omar. All right, after each of the demos, I'm going to recap some of the news we showed and some of the news we didn't show because we cut it last night because we'd be here till about 1 in the afternoon. So on OneDrive, I'm really excited that with the release of the Fall Creators Update for Windows 10 in October, we are going to do the GA of OneDrive Files on Demand, again, across consumer and business, personal OneDrive, and team sites. Omar showed the value of that. We have support for third-party content types, 270 as he showed, a broad spectrum. We're going to show more a little later. Simple sharing. This is something, boy, 18 months ago, sharing inside the SharePoint UI. We've made it simpler, both inside and outside your organization, across all endpoints. That sharing UI, not just in the web, but it shows up within Explorer, Mac Finder, et cetera. And one of the things we didn't get a chance to show is we now support in the Sync client support for syncing IRM-enabled document libraries. That's the word, yes. There's many customers who care deeply about that. The other thing I wanted to break out is work in the Office applications. I sort of have the privilege a few months ago taking on the leadership role for PM and design in Office as well. And we're going to really focus on the great seamless end-to-end experience between Office and SharePoint and OneDrive. And so a few of the things we're doing there is we're bringing that sharing dialogue to all the Office endpoints inside the Office applications. So you teach users once how to share. They can do it in the Mac Finder, in Word for Windows, in the SharePoint UI, et cetera. A whole bunch of rich collaboration capabilities, much more than we could put on this slide. We showed yesterday that real-time co-authoring is now available in Excel for Win32. It's coming to the Mac, and at that point, we will have co-authoring across web, mobile, Win32, Mac, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all only against OneDrive and SharePoint and Office 365. And that's just the start. Many more new collaboration capabilities from SharePoint projecting inside the Office applications, activities, @mentions, and much more in the coming months. And something that we were going to demo, but we couldn't figure out how to, how to fit it in the flow. But it's really great. We've been doing end-to-end work with the Azure team, the Azure networking team, in the core bowels of SharePoint. in the file I/O stack, working with Office. So the largest Office documents, PowerPoints that could be hundreds of megabytes, will now open from Office 365 in the browser in a matter of seconds. Huge, huge work. This is probably the biggest feature that we're doing that matters to people every day, is incredible performance improvements in the Office applications integrating with SharePoint and OneDrive. Next up, team sites, some of the news there. Again, team sites are a great way to connect all the resources across Office 365. Groups enable that. We showed Planner inside a team site. We showed Forms on a page inside SharePoint. We didn't get a chance to show a bunch of new web parts, including our connector web part that lets you put over 100 different data sources on a SharePoint site. One of our favorite features Omar showed is how to take your existing SharePoint sites and connect them to groups. We call this feature Groupify. You can say hashtag SharePoint, hashtag Groupify if you want. Feel free to tweet just about anything you like here. But that's one of our favorite features, is taking the hundreds of millions, if not billions, of SharePoint sites and groupifying them and bringing them the full power of Office 365. And then in addition to, of course, web and mobile hosting of your intranet sites, what a great opportunity we have to host those inside the Teams application alongside the chats and other things associated with the team. So we're really excited about that investment area, and we've got a lot more detail this week on it. Okay, next area, inform and engaging employees. SharePoint powers many of the best intranets around the world, and we want to make it easier than ever before to build great, engaging intranets and pull together knowledge and people across your organization. We announced a big new leap in the SharePoint UI at our May event, our May Virtual Summit for SharePoint, that we delivered in August, that we called communication sites. But these page editing capabilities transcend any SharePoint site. You can use them on a team site as well. And we've made these sites more engaging and connected with a feature we call News. As you've seen, you can create news pages, post them in your sites. They roll up to the mobile app in the SharePoint home, and as a way to connect your intranet, we think, a lot better than ever before. We've got a whole lot to show in communication sites and much more. So for that, let me bring up Dan Holm. Dan?
Thanks, Jeff. With SharePoint, any user can create beautiful sites and pages to inform and engage people in a group and across the organization. The sites and pages look great on browsers, across Windows Mobile and Mac, and they really light up in the SharePoint mobile application, which we're updating today with some great new functionality. SharePoint Mobile lets me keep up to date while I'm on the go. It lets me keep track of news from across my intranet. And now, if there's a news article that I really want to read, but I don't quite have the time, I can bookmark it to save it for later. Notice in the green bar at the top, I can just touch the bookmark flag, and that article's been saved. At the lower right-hand side of the screen, you can see we've added a new Me tab to the SharePoint mobile application. On the Me tab, I can get to the items I saved and catch up with them when I have time. In addition, the Recent view lets me see content from across my intranet, not just files and sites, but also lists and news, so that I can catch up with things that have happened while I was not on my mobile device. Of course, SharePoint Mobile also lets me get to my sites. So from the Sites tab, I can go to the Strategy and Planning group that I also belong to with Omar. And here I can focus on the news and activity specific to this team. I can also get to all of our shared files and data. Or I can go to our Contoso Adventure Travel Program site. Now this site is a SharePoint communication site that we use to keep the organization informed about a program that I lead. At the top, there's what we call a hero web part that lets me get to important information across this site. I can see the latest news posted to this site. I can see events, I can see resources, and I can see who leads this team. The SharePoint mobile app, with its access to my sites, my news, and my recent work, really illustrates our commitment to helping you keep up and catch up while you're on the go. We update it all the time, and today, on iOS and Android, you'll find new versions in the app stores that give you features like mobile notifications for news that deep link into the article, the Me tab, and the ability to save news for later. So let's see how all this looks on the browser. Here in my browser, we see the same Contoso Adventure Travel communication site that is used to tell the story of the program across the organization. We see those same rich experiences, but now rendered appropriately for the real estate of a browser. And this looks great, of course, not just in Edge, but in all browsers across platforms. And one of the things that is important about today's intranet is it's no longer a one-way communication tool for corporate communications to talk to the organization. It's a place where the entire organization can engage and move the organization forward together. And so we're very happy today to show you for the first time in live code the brand new Yammer web part that's mobile ready and works in the browser and on the phone to surface relevant conversations and let you participate in the discussion. Now today at Contoso, we're launching a new partnership with Microsoft, and I want to inform the organization about it. So I'm going to create a new news post. Now, Omar showed you news in the context of a team. I'm going to create it on a communication site so I can reach a broader audience. We're going to announce a new program called Holo Tour here at Contoso Travel. Now, I can pick an image and using the banner of the page, and we see new capabilities, including the ability to do a search from Bing. So I'm going to actually search for Ignite 2017 and find just the right image. Now, once that image is loaded, I can set the focal point on that image so that it renders well across devices. Then I can add some text. This is called the toolbox, and we see some of the web parts that I can add to the page. A couple of points and clicks, and I can add some text. I had it in my clipboard from Word, and you can see it brings in the formatting, including bullets, tables, and other formatting. Now, I want to say more than just words, and if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is probably worth 1,000,000. So I'm going to add a video. And here in the web part, in the toolbox, we have a new embed web part that lets me embed anything from across the internet that provides embed code. So for example, we have a YouTube video here. I'm going to grab the embed code from that and pop it into the web part, just with a paste. It renders just that well. Pretty cool, huh? Now that video is looking a little big, so I want to change the layout of this page. And we have section layouts that let me choose things like a 2-column layout, and then I can use simple skills like drag and drop to get that asset into just the right place. Now I'm going to add one more asset to this page, and that is a file. Omar showed you the file viewer earlier. I'm going to show it to you one more time here. But before I do, I want to point out that these are just a few of the many new web parts we're releasing to let you create dynamic and rich content. Notice the new expansion bar. Now we've got a great new toolbox that lets you see all of the web parts, lets you search for them. And over the course of the coming months, you will see dozens of new web parts, including connectors to important third-party services like Twitter and RSS feeds. You'll see the ability to connect to any one of over 100 data sources through Office 365 Groups connectors. So those data sources will be supported as well. And here in the file viewer, as Omar showed you, this lets you preview one of the 270+ file formats that we now support. So I'm going to add a picture of a scooter to this holographic article to sort of bring in that concept of 3D. And as that file loads, it's a 10 megabyte file, or so it's fairly large here. It's going to render, and I can fully interact with that once I publish that page. So let's publish that and see the results. Whoops. Now we get to watch it render again. So this kind of rich content, including the 3D file, which I can interact with to explore that model, is so much more than you ever could do with email. And I encourage you to think about SharePoint News as a valuable way to really keep your team and your organization informed, as opposed to those weekly and monthly email newsletters. You could never create dynamic content like this in email. And by putting it on the web, people can get to it on any device. It stays a persistent asset that's indexed with search. You can apply security to make sure your confidential information is there. And because the asset persists, it helps new team members get on board quickly as well. Now, to make sure that your news reaches people, we surface news on the home page of the site, on SharePoint Home, in SharePoint Mobile, and you have the ability to promote news to wherever your users are. So if we click the promote button, we can add a link to navigation, we can send it by email, and soon you'll be able to post news directly into Microsoft Teams, either manually or with a news connector for automatic posting, so people can converse around the news and stay up to date wherever they live. Great new capabilities of SharePoint News, huh? So now let's turn to another communications site. Contoso Travel is rolling out Office 365 to its users. And what's better to drive adoption of Office 365 than Office 365 itself? We have a beautiful communication site here that has links to important information for the organization, has videos we're pulling in from Stream, gives us links to resources and leaders across the program. And these, by the way, are Surface, the new people card that gives us all kinds of information about that person. And we can embed all kinds of content, including this Amazon preview of Satya's new book that drops today. Hit refresh. And of course, in a situation like this, you can really see the value that conversation provides. Bringing the community together and lighting up Yammer conversations so that people can support each other, share best practices, and share ideas about how to make Office 365 really fly. Now, when I created this site, I was using Office 365's orangey kind of color. But my design lead, Denise, reminded me that this really isn't on brand. And while sometimes it's the little things that make a difference to users, sometimes it's the big things that make a difference to you in IT. And so we're equipping you with new ways to control the look and layout of your sites. I can go in and change the look of this site. And from the theme gallery, I can pick not only our out-of-box themes, but the custom themes that my organization has loaded, including our Contoso programs. And that defines the look and feel of that site. Pretty cool, huh? And from SharePoint Home, we're giving you ways to create sites that really meet the needs of your organizations. So, for example, I can create a communication site that my organization has created for particular sales events. Whoops, let me choose the right thing there, or site design. We'll call it Holo Tour Sales, and set the classification so it's generally available. And in just a few minutes, I'll get a site that's truly customized to my organization's needs. The look and feel, the layout, even the initial content of the site will be driven through this provisioning process. And that's amazing. I've been looking forward to that for a long time. The innovations we've made across pages, sites, web parts, and even the governance of your intranet are truly astounding. I hope you take time to really think about how you can use these to keep your organization informed and engaged. Back to you, Jeff.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Wait. Don't go anywhere. As you can tell, that was a long demo. We just decided to break it up because we've got something exciting to announce here. In a second, let me just recap the things that Dan already showed. Lots of new web parts to drive engagement and interactivity on your site. In particular, a part that we've designed with the Yammer team to make it seamless to add social capabilities to your intranet, again, that runs on the web and on your phone. Lots of great feedback over the last 18 months on the new, simple, accessible, high-performance, responsive UI to SharePoint. We've brought in I think, a way that's easier than ever before, a way to customize the look and feel and branding of that and how you provision new sites, as Dan showed. Supporting those communication sites are new news and mobile capabilities. We have a Me tab in the mobile app that lets you sort of keep track of all the things in SharePoint. We have ways to create and publish news on different channels. News Digest, pick your favorite news article, send it out in the monthly update, as Dan talked about. And then we didn't get a chance to dive into a few other features, the social bar for adding comments and likes to pages on SharePoint in a simple, streamlined way, and a bunch of new analytics capabilities for SharePoint that we'll also cover in more depth later this week. But one more thing. I think over the last 10 plus years, we've seen all sorts of different ways people have created intranets. And one thing we've learned is they are not static. You don't sit down with the intranet committee, build 5 sites, and then you're done. They ebb and flow, and they change. And so we really worked hard with our research and design and program management team to think about a model that we can support more dynamic intranets. And we're really excited this week to introduce a new concept called SharePoint Hub Sites. This is a collection of sites, whether they are designed up front. Yeah. You don't even know what it is.
I guess the name worked.
Might not be any good. I think it's great, but we'll see in a second. It's a way for you to tie different sites together up front, ad hoc, and have common look and feel and bubble up things like news and activity and search across those sites. It's better shown than talked about. So Dan, give us the tour of Hub Sites.
Right on. So at Contoso, we have a number of intranet sites that might be familiar to you as well. We have a new employee orientation site called Welcome that has all of the information a new employee needs. We have experiences like our giving campaign. And you'll notice these sites right now look pretty different and distinct. We've got a sort of teal site, we've got a reddish site, and we've got our main HR site called Work at Contoso. Now we're going to take advantage of hub sites to bring these sites together, to associate them. IT admins can designate a hub site, and this site has already been designated as a hub site. And then individual sites can join that hub site from the site information panel. So I can go to site information, choose to join this to the Work at Contoso hub, click Save, and watch what happens. Booyah! Branding, navigation. We'll do the same thing here to the Give site. Yep, that deserves some applause. We'll do the same thing to the Give site, join it to the Work at Contoso hub. And the hub, by associating these sites, defines a cohesive experience, shared look and feel, shared navigation, and it makes the user experience more seamless by rolling up news and activity from the associated sites to the hub site. So here on the hub site, I can see news articles and activity from across the associated sites. In addition, it creates a search scope so that if a user searches from the hub, the results are going to be scoped to the associated sites. And yeah, very cool, huh? Even better, as Jeff indicated, intranets today are dynamic. Organizations reorganize all the time. And one of the beautiful things about hub sites is that you can change the associations of sites at any time. So if the giving campaign suddenly moves under travel programs, all I have to do is change the hub site, and it will inherit the branding, navigation, and start rolling up news and activity to the travel program site. So your intranet can be as dynamic as your organization. Hub sites let you associate team sites and communication sites, as well as classic sites, publishing sites, and you can reorganize to your heart's content. This, along with new tools to manage branding and look and navigation and to provision sites, will really help you build better intranets faster. Thanks for letting us show this, Jeff.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Great. So our goal is not just to help you build beautiful, dynamic intranets as fast as possible. We also want you to create tailored, collaborative applications connected to a variety of data sources faster than ever as well. And so the three big things we're doing there is continuing to invest deeply in lists and libraries in SharePoint with rich scalability, metadata management, taxonomy, and much more for these collaborative business processes. At our May event last year, we announced a new wave of technologies for building rapid applications. Tons of great news this week around Power Apps and Microsoft Flow. Great solutions working with any backend. But what we've done is go the last mile and embed those capabilities inside SharePoint so they feel like a seamless feature for creating these custom collaborative applications and business solutions. There's a lot of great stuff here. I'm going to bring up Chris McNulty to give us a quick tour. Chris?
Thanks, Jeff. Good morning. Great to be here in Orlando. Let's get my machine up. So over the past year, we've been bringing the power of our business application automation solution, Microsoft Flow, throughout all of SharePoint. This morning, we're pleased to introduce bringing Flow into OneDrive. Right now on screen, I'm taking a look at my OneDrive, and I can see directly, if I pick a file, I can decide to start building custom processes around them. I can see from a broad range of templates for the kinds of personal automation I might want to take advantage of, being able to be notified if a file is updated or gather email attachments into my OneDrive. I also can take advantage of processes I've already built. So here, I'm going to use one for sending this document for manager review. Now, for years, we've used email to distribute files to people to get feedback or approval. We're now bringing structured automation to the collaboration process, so I'm able to reach out to Active Directory, Flow looks up who my manager is, and sends them a note to ask them to approve it. So let's take a look at how that works for my manager. Here, I'm logged in as Jason Moore. Let's hit refresh to pick up my mail. And I see I have a request from me, and I could get the same experience whether I'm in Outlook for the web, or I'm on a mobile device, or on a desktop. And instead of having to go somewhere else, directly from inside of the email, wherever I happen to be, I get a succinct summary of what I'm being asked to do, a link to the file, and a chance to approve it. And I can come here, paste my comment, and submit it. Flow's going to take it the rest of the way forward and come back and alert me that my document has already been approved. How do we think about that? Awesome. So for a long time, we've used lots of ad hoc techniques to manage business-critical data. And throughout the history of SharePoint, lists have been central to bringing that information together. How many of you have ever needed to order a new machine from your IT department? Yeah, it's a pretty common request. So right now, I'm in the Human Resources site. I have a list which we've built to keep track of people who are scheduled to start at Contoso. One of the things I want to point out in this list is we now have column formatting. With the column formatter, I can introduce a simple script with cut and paste that's going to highlight for me people who are scheduled to start within the next 30 days, all without needing to write custom managed code. How do we feel about that? We know it's important to be able to customize our experience, so let's take a look. It looks like Alex is scheduled to start soon. So again, with Flow, this morning we're introducing the Flow Launch Panel. Now, the Flow Launch Panel allows me at runtime to ask a question which will customize the process for me. So here I'm being asked, what kind of device do we want to get for Alex? And we know that Alex is going to travel a lot, so we're going to get a tablet. And we automate the process there. Now, behind the scenes, let me show you a little bit about what the Flow Designer looks like, because this is something we think everyone should be able to do. This flow is picking up the data. It's asking me a question about what it is that I want, and it's creating a task for me in Planner. So let's look forward to that. As you saw earlier, Omar introduced the Planner web part for SharePoint. Our IT department is using that part. Here we have it directly on a page, and it comes up. And we can see the new tablet request has been assigned to IT, bringing the process forward. Finally, let's look at some of the most common processes that we have right now. How many people in this audience are planning to attend a SharePoint at some point during the week? Yep. We love our social activities, and it does require a fair bit of planning. Now, as some of you know, we at Microsoft are going to be joining the community again coming up in November at the European SharePoint Conference in Dublin, Ireland. We have a list here of hundreds or thousands of events happening around the world. And I'm using the column formatter to spotlight live entertainment. We know that some of the best social events happen where there's already something else going on. So I have built an application using Power Apps here to help me manage our involvement with any of these events. By clicking on an event, I can see right now a quick guide to what's happening here. Let me refresh this. Here we go. And so I'm able to bring a number of data sources in using Power Apps. I'm bringing in Bing Maps. I'm able to edit this information right here. I can see some of the events going on around the world using Power BI on the same form. I can take a look at using drop-downs to choose where this is going to be with some conditionality around what kinds of events I have, as well as using multiple select. So if we need to add security at this event, we can do that. I can also build a process to help me manage signing up volunteers for this event. So here I can see that there's an event going on in Dublin. This looks likely. And if I want to sign up to help, I can come right here, click sign up, and I'm added and registered as someone who's coming to the event. Yeah, thanks. So one thing I didn't draw a lot of attention to is the size of this list. Now, we're just in the standard view of this list, and I have about 20,000 items in there. If I want to find more detail about things that are going on in here, I can choose to filter to call up the filters pane and just click right in, take a look for events that are happening in Dublin. I'm instantly going to be drilled down into just the 3 events if I wanted to find something else that's going on in the city using the filters pane. So let's turn that off. Let's go back to our full view. And you'll see I get great responsiveness if I decide to sort by date or any of the other columns that I have out here. Even though I have 20,000 items in the list, I immediately get to it. And as I scroll through the list, it's just going to keep bringing up more data in batches for me so that I'm never throttled. We don't want there to be any barriers or limits to the kinds of things that you can do inside SharePoint libraries and lists. So Jeff was talking before about community, and earlier this year I was privileged to be able to give the keynote at SharePoint Saturday New York. My sister is a school teacher on the Upper West Side, and she asked me about digital transformation, what is it? And I thought about that, and I said, in the end, digital transformation is really about giving you the tools you need to change the way you work. And that's the first step in transforming the way we all work together. Thank you very much. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Chris. So the summary of that, using Flow as a foundation to build out-of-the-box end-user features like document approval and feedback routing, bringing Flow to OneDrive, using Power Apps not just as a tool to build standalone mobile applications, but embedded forms that seamlessly integrate with the SharePoint experience. We showed Microsoft Forms earlier. And lastly, I think one of the things people have really been waiting for is we've done work in the user experience and the back end with something we call predictive indexing so that you can support lists and libraries in SharePoint with our new UI with millions of items in them. Now, Cyrus and Robert, who work on that UI, or the developers, are in the room, so applaud a little louder for them. All right. Great. Great. Next area, harness collective knowledge. This is about building communities, doing knowledge management, enterprise search, expertise management. A lot of big focus here for this area. I'm very excited to bring up Naomi Moneypenny. Naomi?
Thanks, Jeff. Hi. I am so very excited to talk to you today about what we've announced in intelligent personalized search. I know that you saw on the keynote yesterday, we're really powered by the Microsoft Graph. We have a whole range of new experiences from inside of Windows to Bing, and most importantly for this audience, SharePoint. Yes? So excited to look at this stuff. So I wanted to show you a few things. Before I even start typing into the search box, I am already getting search results. And so I may not even have to do a search at all, right? I'm just seeing most recent documents here. This is all about that personalization angle and really understanding what's important to you based on your collaborative behaviors. I'm going to go ahead and do a search because I want to show you the whole interface, of course. And so you can see that it's already narrowing some results for me. I'm seeing different files here. But let's go ahead and show all of the results. You can see that I get a beautiful, new, rich experience. And this experience is already intelligent. So it's not just intelligent on the background in terms of what we're doing in Microsoft Graph. we're also being very intelligent in terms of the interface. We're very, very selective and showing you different results. Again, these are all personalized for me, the way that I look at things. And so you can see at the top, I've got some presentations, I've got people, I've got news items, and I'll even have list items if there's pieces that are relevant to me there. And so you can see all these wonderful results. That's awesome. OK, well, I want to check out some of these files, right, and see what's really useful for me. So let me go ahead and unfold these different cards. You can see these wonderful little cards here. And guess what? If I want to check out this file, I can do it right inside of the window. I don't even have to leave search, right? So cool. So there it is, a live PowerPoint preview. I can scroll through this different document here. Really awesome to see. And then, OK, maybe it is the file that I'm looking for. I really want to check it out. So again, without having to leave search, I can see the preview right there in the window. And this is not just the PowerPoint, not just our Office documents. It is the over 270 different file types. And you don't even have to leave search to see it. So cool, so cool. I get so excited about this stuff. All right, we can see we have some other results on the page here. So as I scroll down, you can see that I see some results from different folders, importantly, here too. And so I can scroll around. I can see some different site structures. It's really cool to see. So let me go ahead and click through into one of these folder results. It's kind of important, right? If you already do have structure inside of your taxonomy, or maybe you're using a folder structure for your team and you're putting your documents in a certain place, I can actually see right in here, we're intelligently saying we have some marketing matches here in this specific folder, and I can check out all of the results in this folder. So let me go ahead and look at that. And you can see that already I have a scoping box at the top here that helps me understand what I'm looking at. So I want to check out some other pieces in this folder. I'm going to go ahead and search for marketing performance, because that's really useful to me. So let me do this search. You can see, again, I get that beautiful, rich experience. I can see just the files that are relevant to that, including, obviously, the content inside of the files. And I can check out this live preview, again, right from this window. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look at this author here. In this case, it's Omar. And you'll see that that same people card, the same people card we have in SharePoint, across Outlook, and even into OneDrive. And I get to see that people card anywhere that I'm at. So I'm interested in Omar, and I want to check out the different files and the things that he's been working on. And I can see all of that information, and I can reach out to him. If this is the presentation I'm looking for, I can easily Skype or contact him here. So I'm going to go ahead and explore Omar's reporting structure. And I say, oh, OK, let me look through here. I can do that organizational piece all the way through here. And I remember here that Randy, in this case, is the VP of Marketing. Let's check out what he's been doing. I know that I was in a meeting with Randy. I don't know him very well, because he's the Vice President of Marketing. But I know that he gave a great presentation on our ad strategy. And I'd really like to find that. I don't remember what the document's called, but I do know that it was him that shared it with me. Of course, I'm only seeing the files here that he's worked on. That's also very secure in terms of I only see the files that I have access to that he's been working on as well. So right from Randy's profile, I can go ahead and I can search for ad, and I see exactly the presentation I want. Search happy dance, right? Yes. So, it makes me so excited to see these pieces. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Let me go back to my beginning here for SharePoint Home. Check out all the suggested news here. This is also powered by the graph, by the way. So it's always good to see. All right, so there's a few other things that I need to do. And one of those is filing expenses. And so, like me, if you go to OneDrive and you upload a picture of your receipt as you're doing a specific transaction, or you scan it into OneDrive, you can also do this inside of SharePoint. I can go ahead and actually search for receipts. And earlier in the year, we announced that we were automatically categorizing any kind of work object. So if you have receipts, business cards, letterheads, it could be any kind of a document that looks like specific ones that are related to work, we're actually automatically categorizing those as you upload them into SharePoint and into OneDrive. And so I can see, I can check out, I have a whole bunch of different receipts here. OK, that's really cool. But, you know, it's expenses, right? I don't remember exactly what it was that I used this receipt for. I really want to think about, OK, I had that customer dinner, and I don't remember the name of the place because, you know, we're traveling. But I do remember that we ate sushi. So I'll go ahead and search for sushi. And so what we're pleased to announce today is that you can see I get an amazing result right off the bat, but I didn't put any metadata in or anything else to explain this different file. But what we are showing today is that we have automatic text extraction capabilities that came right from the document itself. How cool is that, right? So no longer do you have to go off and do those searches. You don't have to tag it. You don't have to look at the content there. And again, that works for all kinds of images, right? The kinds of previews we've talked about already. It's not just photos. It can also work for things like X-ray and medical images as well. So as we've seen, it's a really exciting experience that we have for personalized search. And I can even have that same experience coming from my app launcher. You recently saw that we relaunched Office.com with a beautiful new layout. And I even can check out the most recent documents that I've been working on right there. Again, all powered by the Microsoft Graph across Bing, Windows, and SharePoint. Thank you so much. And back to you, Jeff.
Great. Thanks, Naomi. You summed it up well. The two big things we really wanted to highlight this week in this area. One is what we believe is the first personalized search engine in the industry for enterprise search, powered by all the activities in Office 365 and the Microsoft Graph. And we're surfacing that in all sorts of different contexts, including SharePoint, and with a brand new, gorgeous, updated user experience for search. And then we're bringing user profiles across Office 365 augmented with LinkedIn data. So whether you're in the Outlook mobile app or on your SharePoint intranet looking for expertise, people's profile information they put up in LinkedIn is right there at your fingertips. So that's what we're doing around harnessing collective knowledge. The next area is around protecting and managing information. Those of you who've heard me before know that we're really leaning in with, we believe security is not something you trade off going to the cloud. It's something you get going to the cloud. If you look at our architecture, our data centers, our operational procedures, the governance capabilities, e-discovery, DLP, auditing, and much more, conditional access, we give you more capabilities than you've traditionally had by far in your on-premises file servers and SharePoint. And we're updating those security and governance capabilities all the time. We've got a lot to show here as well, and so I am very excited to bring up Navjot Virk for that. Navjot?
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. I'm super excited to show you some of the cool new security and admin controls we built in SharePoint and OneDrive. So to get started, the first thing we're going to see here is the new SharePoint Admin Center. So first thing you'll notice is we have completely redesigned this experience. We've made it simple and easy to use, so you can quickly get your job done. At the top of the page, you will notice we have usage reports. You can use these reports to figure out how SharePoint and OneDrive are used in your organization, so you can get more value out of your Office 365 subscription. So on this report here, I can see what kind of file activity is happening in my organization. I can see how many files are viewed or edited. I can also see how many files are being shared internally and externally. I can see how many sites I have and how many are actually active. On this same page, you will also see a message center. This tells you about the latest set of changes being applied to your tenant. So you can be in know when new functionality lights up for your users. So here you can see I have a message telling me that soon my users are going to get real-time policy tips in their SharePoint and OneDrive experiences. So I, as an admin, can get more information about what that feature is right here. And so I know how to react when my users come and ask me about these policy tips. So I can be in the know now. And also back on the Admin Center, you'll notice that I have a service health dashboard. This is where you'll get notifications in the event there's ever an outage or an advisory for your tenant on SharePoint. The other big area of focus for us has been to make site management easy. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's a lot more metadata that you can use to sort and filter to quickly find the sites you're looking for. And notice that the list of sites includes all sites, including group sites. I know, big ask. And I can even customize my views, and I can add custom columns to my views. So here, I'm quickly going to add the Office 365 group column. and I'm going to try and find all the sites in my organization that currently don't have a group associated with them. So here's the list of all the sites that are not groupified. With one click, I can select all the sites. I can actually now take bulk actions. One click, and I can contact the admins of these sites and let them know maybe they should consider groupifying these sites. We're going to continue to add more functionality to this new experience, but you still have access to the old admin center in case you're looking for a feature that's not available in the new experience just yet. Now, the next thing I want to show you is site-level conditional access policies. Now, many of you are probably aware that we already offer you a conditional access policy to control the level of access your users have from an unmanaged device. You can give them full access, you can block all access, or you can give them limited web-only access. Now, today this policy is tenant-wide, so when you apply it, it applies to all your data in SharePoint and OneDrive. But moving forward, you'll be able to apply the limited web-only access policy per site. So here, I have applied this policy to just one site in my organization called legal, because this happens to have a lot of sensitive information. But I'm going to let my users have full access to other sites from unmanaged devices because those sites don't have sensitive information. So I can let my users be more productive, but I can give them restricted access to sites that have sensitive information. So here, I am logged in on my own personal device that is not managed by the organization, and I'm looking at a team site called Geothermal Energy. And on this site, you will notice that I have full access. I can even sync this site down to this device if I want. And when I click on a document, you will notice I can download the document. And of course, I can open the documents, I can view them, I can edit them. I have full access. But when I go on the same device to the legal team site, you'll notice there's a bar on the top. It's telling me that I only have restricted access to this site on this device. I cannot download, print, or sync content from this site. In fact, the sync content is not even available. If I click on a document, you will notice I don't have the ability to download it. But I can still open the document. I can view the document. In fact, I can now even edit the document. So here, I'm going to make a small change. So notice, I as a user can be pretty productive even on this device, but I'm not allowed to perform the actions where I could accidentally leak this sensitive information down to this potentially insecure device. Over time, we're going to look at other policies as well, and where it makes sense, we're going to make them more granular and bring them down to site level or file level. And you'll also be able to associate these policies with classification labels. So now, switching gears, I'm actually going to show you a compliance feature. So many of you in large multinational organizations want to be able to store your data in different data locations in a different country or region to meet your data residency needs. With multi-geo support for OneDrive for Business, you can now extend your tenant to multiple data locations across the globe. So here, I have a single tenant. I have extended it to 3 different locations. North America is my default location because that's where we have our headquarters. But I also have a European satellite location and an Australian satellite location. Now, I can easily assign users to these locations or move them between the locations. So here, I'm showing you 2 of my users. Melissa is a user in Europe, and Amy is a user assigned to the US location. Now, the user's OneDrive for Business data is stored in the location that they're assigned to. But they can seamlessly share and collaborate with everybody in the organization and even outside the organization. And you, as an admin, can also set policies that are specific to a region. So here I am in OneDrive for Business Admin Center. I'm looking at the sharing controls for the North America region. And in my North America region, you will notice that I allow my users to share with external users. But if I change my view, I'm going to go to my European location, or EMEA. And you will notice that in EMEA location, I have actually, sorry, this happens once in a while. My machine has timed out. So what I've done is I've actually blocked external sharing for users in the European location. So you as a user can set different policies, one policy for one region and a different policy for another region. So here I am, signed in as Melissa. If you remember, Melissa is a user assigned to the European location. And Melissa is not allowed to share with external users. So here's Melissa, and if she tries to share this document, she's going to try and share this document with Jeffrey at his Gmail address. So he's clearly an external user. And she's going to get an error message. She's blocked from sharing with the user because he's an external user. But at the same time, she can seamlessly collaborate with other people within the organization. So she decides to share this document with Amy, or she can share this document with Adam, and Adam happens to be a user in Australia, Amy is a user in US, but she can seamlessly share with all the other users within the organization. And not only can she share with these users, in fact, they can also seamlessly share with her. So here I'm going to look at her shared with me list in her OneDrive. And you will notice that she has a lot of files, and some have been shared with her by users in the US, some in Europe, and some users in Australia. So she can seamlessly share and collaborate with everybody. So I've just shown you how you can easily extend your tenant to multiple locations to meet your residency needs, but let your users work across the entire tenancy. So how cool is that? So the last thing I want to show you is a sneak peek at a new feature we're still working on. And this feature lets your users roll back their OneDrive for Business to any point in time in last 30 days. Now this is a really cool feature in case your users get hit by events like a mass deletion or corruption, or maybe a ransomware type of attack. So the user can simply go back. Here I am in my Restore My OneDrive experience. I can see every change that has happened to my OneDrive in the last 30 days. There is a histogram telling me the number of changes that have happened each day, and I can easily scroll and go back to any day. Now, I'm noticing that there's a lot of changes that have happened today to my OneDrive. And in fact, some really suspicious-looking file names have shown up. Something seems to be going on. So lots of file names got renamed, and the names look very suspicious. So I'm going to quickly scroll down to the point in time in my OneDrive before this event started. So I'm going to scroll and quickly try to find the time today where these changes started. And you'll notice that this seems to have started somewhere right here. So I'm going to pick that time. I'm going to click Restore. And that's it. My OneDrive will get restored to that time before this event. So this was just a quick tour of some of the new features that are coming. There's obviously a lot more. Back to you, Jeff.
Great. Thank you, Navjot. She's got an incredibly detailed session with so much more that we actually wanted to show as well, but a lot of great things in protect and management. New admin UI. Thank you for being with us on the old one for a while. I think you'll like the new one a lot better. Sometimes we're proud of our past work. This is one where, over 15 years, we just threw it in the admin UI, and we finally, with the help of our design team over the last many months, have sort of been redoing the UI and information architecture for it. For large multinational corporations, multi-geo support, first for email in OneDrive, eventually next year for SharePoint, where you'll be able to segment different users into different data centers for the first time. We didn't talk so much about service level encryption keys. We introduced conditional access policies per site. We've already got them per user, per network, and so forth. We're doing a lot more, and she showed the point-in-time recovery for OneDrive that is key for scenarios like ransomware. A few more things I want to highlight. We do have, as I said, some exciting news at the end. Let me first talk about the work we're doing for developers. This is obviously a huge area for SharePoint in Office 365 all up. Yesterday, we did a very extensive set of announcements about customization and extensibility in Office 365. For SharePoint and OneDrive, the cornerstones are really going well beyond the .NET ecosystem to embracing developers of any background and any skills and sort of leveraging what's going on in the rest of the industry. So at the Future SharePoint event, we announced a JavaScript framework called the SharePoint Framework for extending the SharePoint UI and rallying around a REST endpoint for all of the Microsoft services called the Microsoft Graph. In the All Up blog post we announced yesterday, and we've got a whole bunch of sessions on this week. Obviously, we want to have a consistent programming model across on-prem and the cloud, so we brought the SharePoint framework to 2016 SharePoint with Feature Pack 2. We introduced the next wave of the SharePoint framework, GA'd it yesterday, with extensions and all sorts of ways to customize the UI. We're very excited about that. We showed through the morning site designs and provisioning. We've got brand new ways that I think you'll like a lot better for doing those. And huge investment across Microsoft in the Graph API, in our case in particular, bringing lists and libraries together with content types and a lot more the capabilities in SharePoint. So tons of stuff there. Of course, our community, our P&P community, is leading the way with great samples and tools around that, and I encourage you to check that out. Big focus on developers. Okay, great. Last couple things. We've focused this morning on the things that are either recently available or coming today or in the next couple months for Office 365. But we want to be flexible. We know different organizations are at different states on their journey to the cloud. So we support all three models: cloud, hybrid, and on-prem. And we want to make it easier, regardless of where you are, for you to work with SharePoint. And so I'm going to highlight a couple of pieces of news there. First, we are introducing the first-party SharePoint migration tool where you can migrate files from on-prem servers as well as SharePoint document libraries to the cloud. This is in addition to the great advanced third-party tools we have in our Fast Track service. People have been asking us for a super simple, fast, first-party tool, and we're really excited this week to introduce the SharePoint migration tool and excited to get people's feedback. That's for the journey to the cloud. For people who need to stay on premises, we are committed to on-premises servers. I'm going to talk about that in a second. It will be a subset of what we do in Office 365. There's pretty fundamental technologies like the graph, groups, teams, Power Apps Flow. Many of those are cloud only, but we will be able to take a fairly significant portion of the core capabilities to on-premises. And I'm excited to announce next year we'll be bringing the Office 2019 wave to on-prem, 2019 client, Exchange server, SharePoint server, Skype for Business server. We'll send into preview in the first half of the year and release later next year. And again, great solid release. Best solution is in the cloud for both security and capabilities, but we know this is an important choice for many organizations, and we're committed to it. So excited to announce that next wave of servers. Okay, next steps. First, we'd really encourage you all to learn from each other. We've got some amazing case studies that are out there on OneDrive and SharePoint and more. You know, great things. I love what NASCAR has done, for example. We've got a bunch of new ones this week, including United, EY, Thermo Fisher, and Lowe's. We'd encourage people to check those out. There's a lot that you can learn from them and from each other. In terms of drill downs on the product, you know, a couple of suggestions there. If you go to aka.ms, there's really two resources to check out. One is SP Ignite, which will be all the announcements from today, aka.ms SP Ignite, and then aka.ms SP Ignite sessions is all the great detailed sessions, and I won't go through them all. We've got amazing ones from Denise Trambona, who runs our design team for SharePoint, who's going to tell you how to customize the SharePoint UI and design great intranets in a robust way, to Navjot's section on manageability. The OneDrive session is just killer. So check them all out. But let me close with one last thing. I opened up, and I know it's been a whirlwind, but if you remember 75 minutes ago, I opened up, you know, with our commitment to the community. We were really fortunate that we learned so much from you. You help each other, and we've really fostered this regular cadence of getting together, doing a roadmap event in May, and getting together with the big Microsoft event at Ignite, where we bring all the product teams together. But over the last 2 years of doing that, we've gotten some feedback. Once a year, maybe not quite enough. Your May events, you announced the roadmap, you'd like to be there with us. So let me close with 3 words for you. SharePoint Conference Vegas. We'll do some talking this week. We're going to do a lot of listening. Talk to us in the sessions in the booth. We're going to hear you. And then we're getting on planes and going back to Seattle and planning 2018. And the team will be in Vegas in force. That is where we were going to do our next May event with the next set of roadmap announcements. So enjoy Microsoft Ignite and get a deep dive. Give us feedback. But I hope to see some of you and some of your colleagues in Vegas next May. Thank you so much.